Hey there, Michael Leckie here is a part of my ongoing series on health, well-being, and leadership. And so today I'm going to talk to you about one of the things that I've been doing for some time, which is testosterone replacement therapy, or TRT as it's known. There are a lot of different views about testosterone replacement therapy, but I'm going to tell you how I got started on it. I saw a men's physician, Dr. Michael Werner, out in the New York City area. You've probably seen signs for his clinics on the subways or on the trains if you've been out there. He's been around a while and I think is a real leader in his field. And I found him to be my experience with him was really good. I really liked him personally, but also thought that he was a really thoughtful doctor who is concerned with health and well-being, not just health. And I think the two things really matter. And so we were talking one day, and he did some regular blood work with me, and he said, your weight's crept up a little bit over the past year or so. I said, yeah, I've noticed that. He goes, have you had a hard time taking it off because you'd maintained it, low for so long? I said, I have had a harder time lately. He goes, okay. He goes, how about energy? Are you feeling more tired or less tired than you have been in previous years? I said, well, actually, I've come to think about it, I do feel a little more tired. I'm kind of wanting a nap more often, feeling myself get a little more rundown. He goes, I thought that might be the case. He said, well, I looked at your latest blood work. He said, your testosterone is at the bottom of the acceptable range, but right at the very bottom. But your free androgen is almost non-existent. He said, I really think that you could benefit from testosterone replacement therapy. And he talked to me about, the pros and cons of it. I have to inject it myself. And said he'd want to keep me on it for a year to understand the full effects on my body. And we decided where to go from there. And so I went ahead and took his advice, learned how to inject it, which I've talked about in other videos, and began doing testosterone replacement therapy. And I'm going to say that was probably about a decade ago. And here's been the things I would say about this. One, I've had to change doctors. When I moved out of the New York area to the Pacific Northwest, I had to move from Dr. Werner to Dr. Bob Straight and his team. I see Dr. Josh at the Full Potential Men's Health Clinic here in the Portland area. But both of them have done a couple of things in common. Fairly extensive and regular blood work. In fact, while I was recording one of these, I actually got a call on my phone that said, hey, we want to schedule you for your blood work. And so I need to follow up on that. And they're very good about getting me in for regular, thorough blood panels to see what's going on with my health overall and to measure the amount of testosterone in my body. And they worked closely to gauge the amount that gave me kind of the level they wanted me to be at. And then they monitor that pretty carefully. So that's the first thing I'd say is you need to be under the supervision of someone who is actually looking at how it's impacting your body and just not selling it to you and moving on. I know there are a lot of resources for it nowadays. Mea culpa, I have not used any of their resources but clinics that are focused on men's health, but I have bought other things off the internet, and it concerns me if you're just buying it but not getting the kind of blood work and care that you need. So my personal recommendation, don't scrimp on the money and not get the blood work, because medications can impact each body in a very different way. We want to know what's the impact. Well, better energy, better mood, a strong sex drive. Sorry, honey, apologize to my wife for saying that. It's made me feel really good, really healthy, and it helps keep me motivated and moving. Now, I have not been off it for quite a while, so maybe if I went off it, I'd feel the same. I don't know. But I can tell you I began to feel different very quickly after I started taking the medication, and it's worked for me so far, and I don't see a medical reason to need to go off it. Now, I will tell you something that happened to me that was kind of a challenge, is I did see another physician for a brief amount of time, a general practitioner who didn't like me being on testosterone therapy. And he said, your testosterone levels are too high. I said, well, they're too high if they're on their own. When you combine it with these other factors that they'd show me at the clinic, and they showed me the research, it's actually in a good range. And when I began to share with him there were other factors, his response was almost one of disdain, like, well, I'm the doctor, I'm telling you it's too high. I asked him, I said, well, do you specialize in this? No, clearly not. I said, well, these physicians do specialize in it. Maybe we should, listen to what they have to say. Are you interested? I could have them send you some information. He wasn't really interested. And I'll tell you this, he wasn't my doctor for long because I didn't feel like he was open to what another doctor had to say. He had one area of expertise. He had one set of values and opinions, and that's great. I didn't want to be listening to only one voice, but I found his voice was one that was more a little bit arrogant and uninterested. And so I changed to another general practitioner. And quite frankly, I'm perfectly happy with him. And he sees things through a different perspective. He'll give me his views on it. He says, it is high in this way. I can see what they're saying there, but as long as you're having good results and getting monitored, it's not my specialty. I'm going to leave you to it. One of the things I would say is you do have to find the doctors that work for you. And remember that. Doctors do work for you. You can change your doctor. You can ask for a different doctor. And you can engage with them in such a way that they do listen to you. And it's easy for them not to sometimes. I'm not maligning the field. I have a lot of close friends who are physicians, and I love them and love the work they do. Not all physicians are the same. You need to find the one that's like a psychotherapist, the one that works for you. And the last thing I would say is that I believe that the testosterone replacement therapy has helped me in my career, definitely, because I do have energy, I do have focus, and it keeps me in a place where I can do my job. I had somebody recently, we were talking and something came up about age, and I share my age, and both of them kind of, their jaws dropped and said, I would have thought you were at least 10 years younger than that. Now, can I say that's all due to taking testosterone? No, I can't. There's other factors. But I will say that's been one of the factors that's helped keep me relatively fit and healthy for my age, and I hope to and plan to stay that way, because one of my goals is to be effective in the world around me and the people I'm working with, and I can't be that unless I'm taking care of myself. So that's how I got into testosterone replacement therapy. It's why I'm still in it, and it's why if you're a man and you are suffering from a low libido or a loss of energy or struggling to stay fit, it might be something you want to go and investigate and have the blood work done to see if it's the right thing for you. Bonus round here, I will say that it's not only for men. Women can take testosterone too. I know of women who have had issues that they discovered, they didn't even know they needed testosterone, but discovered that they had very low or none circulating. And after taking it, it really impacted their health as well. Now they take a much lower dosage than a man would take, but it's part of the chemicals in both of our bodies. Women, worth educating yourself about testosterone replacement therapy for women as well. But not being a woman and not having taken it as a woman, I'm not going to comment on that one any further. I'm going to let it be for somebody else. Maybe we'll get one of them in here at some point to talk to me about it. But for now, that's why I take testosterone, and I hope it was helpful, informational for you. And I encourage you, if you think you might need to do the same, to find a clinic or a doctor near you that knows something about testosterone replacement therapy and pursue it from there. Thank you. Stay healthy, stay well, and keep leading. I'm Michael Leckie. Thank you for following, and please share this with anyone you think might benefit from it. Give me your comments and thoughts. I'd love to hear about them and talk to them about them on a future video. Take care. Have a great day.